Yo, yo, yo. John Bush, Catherine Bleish here of the Uncoinventional Living Tour West. We're doing a Bitcoin-only tour starting in San Marcos, Texas, heading all the way out to the West Coast, San Diego, California for Libertopia. We've got a lot of cool events, meetups, and cool touristy stuff along the way. And we're using Bitcoin only, hoping to educate people and inspire them to utilize Bitcoin in their daily lives. We're on day 3 of the tour, and you can check out a recap of day 1 and 2 via podcast, as well as some blogs that Catherine's been doing at Let's Talk Bitcoin, and that's where the podcasts are as well, letstalkbitcoin.com. I'm going to turn it over to my lovely wife, Catherine Bleish, a.k.a. the Bit Mom, and she's going to tell you a little bit about last night and moving into the hotel using cheap air and our experience today. We're actually driving back from the Grand Canyon today, which is pretty exciting. We went to go see that, and there's a little issue that we had with getting in and using Bitcoin, so I'll let her tell you about that. Check it out.
Hey everyone, it's Catherine, the Bit Mom, with the Uncoinventional Living Tour, and yesterday was an interesting day because we had to make up for some lost time on the road. This means we had, what, John, 2.5 extra hours that were not on the travel itinerary because we left late the day before and we didn't make it all the way to Roswell, New Mexico. Instead, we stayed in, Lubbock, Texas. So we were unsure if we could make it from Lubbock, Texas, all the way to Flagstaff, which was our intended destination, with the toddlers in the car. So we made the logistical decision to not book our hotel until we knew if we were actually going to be able to make it or not.
How long were we driving for?
I remember looking at the clock when we left, and we pulled out of Lubbock, and it was 10:30. And we arrived when the clock in the hotel said 11:30, which would have been 12:30 a.m. Central Time Zone, because we went through a time zone change. So it was a long day. It was like 14 hours in the car. So anyway, we ended up plowing through. The kids did great. We took some long pit stops. 14 hours in the car. It was actually, an hour at the park here and an hour at a restaurant here. We took some pit stops, which was great. But when we realized we were going to make it to Flagstaff, I went to book the hotel that I had spent a lot of time trying to find before we left on this journey. And the reason it takes a lot of time to book a hotel when you're doing something like this, or to find the right hotel for our family, is because we're traveling with a dog. So we need a hotel that is dog friendly and ideally does not have a pet fee, since we're doing Bitcoin only and you don't pay the pet fee through services like Cheap Air. I also use TripAdvisor because it really is a wonderful resource about each hotel, where you can read about the breakfast and all the different things. So since we are doing a Bitcoin only road trip, we're using sponsorship money, so we want to be as frugal as possible. We need to have a hotel that is pet friendly with no pet fee, that will also provide a breakfast so that we do not have to go spend more Bitcoin buying food in the morning.
There's not very many breakfasty restaurants on Gift or other services like that, we might add. So when it comes to breakfast, it's a lot more difficult to find the places. Maybe there's a little hint for Gift to try to link up with some more breakfast-like places to make that easier on the Bitcoin travelers.
Yeah, on our last tour, we did some buffets at Whole Foods. Whole Foods has really been a great place for us to stop using Gift, GYFT, which is a gift card service that we use to buy food. So those are the requirements that we need to get a hotel, and that requires some research. And I was pretty upset last night when we went to book the hotel that I had found a couple weeks ago, and it was overbooked, and we were unable to get that hotel. So it took about 30 minutes of doing some research. We did find a really fabulous hotel. We booked it through Cheap Air. We paid with Bitcoin. Now, we really love Cheap Air. We fell in love with this service on our first tour for several reasons. One, because they take Bitcoin for all the hotel rooms. Other services like Expedia, there are qualifiers for which hotels accept Bitcoin. Some of them do, some of them don't, and you don't know until you go to checkout, which is kind of obnoxious when you're on the road and you're really using a lot of different qualifications to find the right hotel, then you go to pay for it, and oh my gosh, they don't take Bitcoin. So Cheap Air was a real blessing for us on our first tour, and we were able to get any hotel we wanted, even ones that were not available on Bitcoin through Expedia. We were able to book through Cheap Air. So we fell in love with Cheap Air for that reason, and because of their wonderful customer service. Whenever we had a problem, we had immediate, awesome customer service. The problem was dealt with very quickly. And with other hotel booking agencies that we used on our first tour, that was not the case. Not the case at all. You can Google our nightmarish experience booking a hotel with Bitcoin on Expedia to hear a story about when booking with Bitcoin and customer service issues went horribly wrong, just absolutely awful. So Cheap Air, we're real big fans of them because they take Bitcoin for all of their hotels, and their customer service is absolutely fabulous. They happened to jump on as a sponsor for this tour because they really liked what we were doing, and we really gained an appreciation for each other during the East Coast trip.
We love each other. Kat, tell the listeners about their blog that they do.
Yes. Now, Cheap Air, they are not just accepting cryptocurrency to make money for quick buck. They really believe in Bitcoin, and they have a blog that you can find by going to uncoinventional.com and finding the Cheap Air logo, and underneath of their logo you'll see some text, and in there is a link to their People of Bitcoin blog, where they do a spotlight on different individuals in the Bitcoin ecosystem to really try and educate the Cheap Air travel community about Bitcoin and why it is so important for everyone to get involved.
So big ups to Cheap Air. Check them out at cheapair.com and book your travel needs through them. As Catherine said, not only do they have a wonderful service, but they also are big proponents of Bitcoin, so we want to support them anytime that we can. Now, we are driving back from the Grand Canyon. We had a wonderful visit there with the family. Aliana and William absolutely loved it. We hit a bit of a snag, well, it could have been a snag heading up there. As we're driving up the highway from Flagstaff, we see a sign that says $25 per vehicle to enter the national park, the Grand Canyon National Park. So thankfully this time around we had a friend, two friends, act as proxies, and they bought us some Visa gift cards. Last time we had gas cards through Coin Fuel, and of course we wouldn't have been able to use the gas cards at various different places, but thankfully we were able to use the Visa gift card to pay for that $25 fee. So we were able to get into the Grand Canyon. We try to mix in stuff along the way. You know, it's like a working vacation really, but we have the kiddos, so we're always trying to do fun and exciting stuff, and it was my first time to see the Grand Canyon, so that was really exciting. The kids loved it. It's pretty vast. It's definitely a lot grander than I suspected, and I was reminded of a wonderful scene from National Lampoon's Vacation where Clark Griswold and his family, they're there at the Grand Canyon, and he's trying to use a check, and I guess they don't have any cash or cards, and he's trying to use a check there at one of the Grand Canyon hotels or restaurants, and the guy behind the register is kind of jerk to him, and he says that they can't take the check, and then he gets a phone call or something, and Clark proceeds to reach across the counter, pull cash out of the register, and leave the check, and then run outside to the family who's sitting there looking over the Grand Canyon, and his wife says, "Isn't it beautiful, Sparky?" And Chevy Chase, who's a masterful comedy actor, slapstick, he does his little, yep, it's pretty beautiful. Okay, kids, let's go. So I thought that was cute. I was reminded of that. Trying to think of some funny way to work Bitcoin into that. I guess with Bitcoin, people would be inclined to accept it instead of checks, because it's once they send the coin over, you have the coin. There's no fraud that could take place, really. So I don't know. Just really like that show and that movie. And I don't know, feel like a little bit of a Clark W. Griswold myself, cruising around the family truckster. Hopefully I don't end up flying off of a dead end the old family station wagon. Well, folks, here I am rambling on, so we're going to go ahead and say goodbye. This is Uncoinventional Living. This has been day 3. We're in Flagstaff, Arizona. Tomorrow we head to San Diego, California. Beautiful San Diego, beautiful state of California. Slightly communist, if you ask me, but it's great, and really appreciate all stuff that they're doing as far as marijuana decriminalization, but we're going to be participating in Libertopia, giving some speeches there, and there's going to be a wonderful opportunity to interview all sorts of Bitcoin luminaries. So expect some really cool interviews coming up in the next updates, and wish us luck as we travel. So check us out on uncoinventionalliving.com and share the blog, share the posts, and as always, stay free. Peace and freedom, Bitcoin. The magic word for today is Griswold, Griswold. Magic words are words that are included in Let's Talk Bitcoin podcasts that you then enter in your Let's Talk Bitcoin account to earn LTB coin. To learn more, visit letstalkbitcoin.com.